Hello everyone. Good morning or good afternoon or good evening. So today is the 13th week of the TH490 Leadership in Ministry. My class is almost done. We left two more class, 14 and 15. So I remember about starting this class since January, end of January, and February, March, and April, and now it's May. I taught you the leadership in Christian perspective and leadership in ministry. I think and I believe you will be the leaders in your society, or you have already the position of the leader in your circumstance. Now is I hope. So when you finish the magic class and you can modify or adjust your leadership. So what you had done in your position, in your society or your school or your, how can I say, I don't know what your situation for exactly. Anyway, I hope not too much you can get that from my class, but just only one or two or three, just a very important keyword if you get, and then I appreciate you. Okay, and I want to pray before these 13 lectures. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, thanks for be with us always from when we were in the world, any kind, any place, what we had a situation. Now we studied in IUTS in United States, and we are very so many kind of diversity situation from coming to the United States from our own land, our own countries. But our situation sometimes good and happy and very easy circumstance, but sometimes we very hard and very difficult situation. For especially in this time, we were in the middle of the very crisis situations during Russia and Ukraine and USA and Iran has the war. That's why so many difficult factors, especially in economic factors. But I believe and we hope you are good suggest to us for better chance and better circumstance. And now we are 13 weeks in this class, in this semester, and we prepare about the pack up this class for 2 more weeks. So please be stand with us until same as like before. You should be protect us what kind of situation from us. I think and I believe and I hope you protect and you will be stand with us always. And I pray the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. Okay, thank you for my class, what you watched my video. And I'm going to start in 13 weeks. And so very easily a review of youth theory from 11 and 12 lectures together. And now is our last theory of leadership in very update leadership in transformational leadership today. And this transformational leadership is a very, very update from 20th century or 21st centuries. That's why it's very important and is applicable leadership in your circumstance, in your field. Okay, I'm going to the back in very basic of the leadership, the definition of what is a leadership in ministry. The Robert Greenleaf, so we called the sometimes Greenleaf, he said, who is the leadership in ministry? Who is the leader in ministry? A biblical leader, that is not general leader, it's a biblical leader, is a person, is a human. What kind of human? Who has identity of a steward. That is a very important keyword, is steward, who follows God's will, and who is the good steward. Steward, he was who follow God's will and take on the role of serving the community with love and sacrifice. That is a keyword is a biblical leader. And biblical leader is a steward who follow God's will. That is identity. And what he to do that? He should be role of serving the community with love and sacrifice. That is a very good sentence. What definition of the biblical leader and leadership in ministry. And youth theory or theory U is a very updated theory of the leadership. But that is the two part. The one part, the first part, and second part is a very in the future, and first part belongs to the past. So where we were, what we should do that. So we should define and confirm of the calling and willing and observation and feeling, sensing, and then the middle term is presencing. Again, who is the self? Who am I? Who we were and where we were and what is my work, and reconfirmation about our goal, and then toward to the execution and toward the future. Another strategy and motivation, strategy and performing. And what is the characteristic of a theory? Youth theory is integration. So together. So traditional leadership and updated leadership. And also functionally integration is a leadership and manager. Leadership is the going to advertise and presentate to the members for the goal, vision. And manager is a management, but this is integrate the youth theory. The schematizing is a timeline as you, that we had the step by step. And what is proposed? As a spiritually and fresh together. That is one keyword is integration. So tradition and updated leadership. And time to time, and change and modified, adjusted, and realliance, schematizing, and purpose is together, spiritually and our bodily together. That's why just only one word is integration. And first step is where I am. And you should be conformed is calling. Why should I do that? And how we share, how we make a connect with the other, our colleague or our partner, the sharing. That's why, so why do I have to do this or this business or this class or this school, and why you should do? And it refers to a clear understanding of it. That is a very clear vision, clear mission statement. That is the first step. And second step, and what should you do? Where you are, and what kind of a situation and circumstance, and what is your partner or your friend or your family members or organization's situation from inside and outside. That's why it's reaffirming the sense of calling, and for the implementation of calling and adjusting the members or by yourself before you had the observate. That's why second step is observation. And then how you can take an observation. So one is a method I recommend is SWOT for the organization. And the other one is MBTI for the personally. There's a members. Each members what kind of MBTI and what kind of the situation from the organization is SWOT. So SWOT, the initial of SWOT means the strength. What you have the strength and what you have the weakness inside and outside together. And what you have the opportunity or what is the threat in your influence to your organization. And the other one is you should be observate about personally. That is a regularly checkup because the mankind should be changeable. That's why it's one time per year, maybe regularly you should be checked up the one time per year. And second thing is announcing and sharing. If you are leader and what do you think about that, or what you have to change the goal or mission, and then you should be announcing to the members and sharing and make a relationship. So by lingually, so there's a two ways relationship. The observation method is two kinds. So for the organization and for the personally. And third step is you should be feeling. So environment of in and external. Inside, what kind of situation, what had the influence to our organization. That's why so you feeling and you sensing in and external, in and out. And emotionally, you have empathy and sympathy. Sometimes you heard from the complaint from your members emotionally, not officially. Sometimes emotionally is more impact to the members' mind and members motivate. That's why so you should be emotionally sensing. And prepare the next step is very wisely steps. So when you heard for the members' complaint or members' emotional feedback, but inside in your mind, you should be prepared the next step for strategy. That is a sensing. And then hold standing your space and observe and sensing, and then now you like recheck up in your middle term. That's presenting. Where is your current location? Before 1 year or 6 months or 5 years or 10 years, you had a calling and you work very hard in your situation, in your position as like a leader or as like a just members. But it doesn't matter. Now you check up by yourself in the middle term. How? First one, assessment. Observe and what is my advantage during the 5 years or 1 semester, and how we implementation or improved my situation should be assessment. Second, you reaffirmation. Affirmation is to make a very strong stand, strong your foundation. And third one step is aligning. So adjust, modify of the good direction or new direction where you should be changed. And now you get the new mission statement. So sometimes it's like a same mission statement when you start, but sometimes you should be aligning of direction and then you adjust or you modify the new mission statement. That is a middle term. It's like a same why we get the middle term and final. Second thing. So middle term, before you find out, you should be define what is this class, why we should learn, and you start, and then in the middle term you check up that how we far from start now, and then you rearrange for final term. It's like a same. So U theory, that's why so you have the capital U in the middle side is a very bottom, and then you restart in the bottom is a new mission statement. And then most important in the presenting is a rebalancing stage to check up the calling and mission statement and direction. You should be check up the balancing and observation of the environment. So that is the most rely on your personal habit or officially, for example, for oriented, the goal or result oriented, or personally, you should be balancing. And how? Evaluation, that is assessment, and then arrangement. You need that rearrangement and check up the rebalancing stage. And now we are going to the future. We are get everything repacked before start, and then you check up the purpose. Why you should do that? Reconfirming, reaffirmation, your calling, and practically then first direction. Though maybe when you get the first time starting in the direction of the organization or your personal goal, sometimes not only practically, but also theoretically. But now is a motivation after midterm, after presenting, and then most practical theory, practical method achieve the goal. And you use that reward, not only punishment. Reward and punishment should be balancing. And now is more practically, you should get the strategy. So strategy before you get the new strategy, and then you should be reassessment, reaffirmation, realigning, new mission statement. It's like the same, just like that, presenting and strategy is the same step and same factor. very important assessment. So evaluation. And then after evaluate, after assessment, and then you should be reaffirmation and realigning of direction. That is a strategy. And I told you the after presenting should be most important is practical. That's why so going to goal oriented, result oriented, productive oriented, and outcome oriented. It doesn't matter what kind of wording you use that. The aim to the goal oriented. We should be achieve what we plan, our mission statement. There's outcome oriented. And now we should be almost done. Execution. So when you take a final in my class and then not finish. So when you take a final and then you reaffirmation or reassessment, what did you do then? What did you learn? And how we should use that, what we learn from this class. Just like that, when you walk in somewhere or when get the relationship with your family, and then when you had the discuss or when you had the relation with your family, and then how, what we get that. And then you should be prepared or awakeness about the not concern only past. No past. You should be going to the future. No past, take a future. No back to the past. Back to the past is observation and assessment. That's it. And now, when you go to the execution and then only take a future, new strategy and new mission statement, you should be concerned, not past, future. No more experience. No more rely on experience. You know, we who is the old man or old woman has so much experience during their lifetime, but not rely on experience. That is a good experience, but that was the good experience in the past. The new circumstance or new environment, and then we should adopt to new theory. I remember I taught in the Bible new wine and new wineskin, not pour the new wine to old new skins, not old wineskin. That's why so no more rely on past experience. You should be concerned about the adopt a new theory. That means the no stay tradition. No more tradition. Just concern about the create a new generation. There is a new prepare for the new environment. And then the U theory is finally concludes. U theory is a human and material side is integrates. And leadership and manager is a spiritually and fresh together, integrate. And then every step repeat and 7 stage. And theoretical and practical. That's why so one keyword is a U theory integrated. So maybe we concern about how can we compromise or integrate in human and material. Okay, now so we start final leadership in this class. The theory of leadership in this class. the transformational leadership. Transformation is changeable leadership. So what is the history of the transformational leadership from 20th century? 20th century is 1900 something. So now is 2025, 2026. Just only 100 years ago. But when the leadership is our concern in our situation, our society is a 17th century. So roughly we can say 1600 something in England, in United Kingdom, they had the big mass production equipment. And then we have the mass product, we have the a lot of opportunity for the working place, and we use that the lot of same patterns product from the factory, and then a lot of people work very regularly pattern working in the factory. That's why the sociologists are concerned about the human is not machine. Then how can we study about the humanity and productivity? That's why it's 17th century. That means the 300 years ago we studied the leadership factors. And now is the transformational leadership, said James McGregor Burns. James McGregor Burns is not a leadership scholar, but he said just the word is transformational leadership we needed. That he was the sociologist. But Bernard Bass, he was the economist and business administrative scholar in United States, and he adopted James McGregor Burns' theory from sociologist to the economics, business administration. We used it after that, Bernard Bass and transformational leadership. And now, what situation? After 20th century, after 1900, 1960, 1970, we concerned about the personal computer from Microsoft, Bill Gates. So before personal computer, we have the big data in the EDPS, in the one big memorial machine that we called the EDPS, and we said the center of the data. But after 1970, after 1980, Internet high-tech enterprise, not only Microsoft, so we used the Wi-Fi, wireless. And then Internet high-tech enterprise is very, very quickly build up, quickly develop that in this century. And then Bernard Bass saw that the leadership should be changed, rely on very quickly developed our industry. That's why it's a transformational leadership is more update and just like a similar in youth theory. And what is the definition of the transformational leadership? The James Burns, who said, the process by which leaders and members help each other. That means the leader and members. So we study already leaders and manager integrate. The transformational leadership is the process by which leaders and members help each other for what? To promote a higher level of moral and motivation. Together, moral is human, motivation is productivity. So should be get the achieved goal is a higher level. The James M. Bonds, he said the transformational leadership is the process by help each other, leaders and members, for what? To promote a higher level of moral, human, and motivation and product. And then Bernard Bass, he used that definition from the James Bonds, and he a little bit aligning of the definition of transformational leadership. He said, leadership that motivates members to effectively achieve their goal is very practically. The theory James Bonds, he made it about the transformational leadership, and then Bernard Bass, he used that in industry of the economic industry for the practically. Leadership is not process. Leadership is a process also, but motivate members for what? Effectively achieve goal. Very simple. Motivate to the members for achieve their goals. And what is a component of the transformational leadership? Okay, I repeat again definition from the James Bonds as the theory and use it practically in Bernard Bass. There's one theory maker and one practically activist, Bernard Bass. Okay, and what is the component of the transformational leadership? We call it the 4I. Why we 4I? Because the start I, 4 component. Idealized influence. Because transformational leadership is a balancing and integrated human and productivity. That's why it's starting the human. Idealize, creative idea and critical idea, even some complaint is a good idea. That's why it's an idealized influence to the organization. No matter what, the good suggest or bad complaint, it doesn't matter. Everything leader should be idealized and influence to the organization. Idealize is very important from the start in transformational leadership. You know, for example, so when the mine, when digging the ground for some people going to the underground and digging the ground, and then they get some stone. But why? They looking for stone? No, they looking for diamond. But they should get the big, dirty, and very dangerous stone came from ground first. That is idealized. Why? They want to get the diamond among the stones. That is idealized influence. And second step is an intellectual stimulation. So when the miner get the stone from the ground and they found that here is this stone get the diamond inside. How do they know that? Because they have information and knowledge, and must be intellectual stimulations. And then when you get the diamond from the stone, and why? the diamond is very, very expensive, but this miner, this labour is very cheap. That's why they get the diamond from the stone. It's very hard environment, working environment, because they had the inspirational motivation. When we get the diamond from the stone, even we are in very dangerous and dirty and very difficult environment, work environment, because our company or our family or our nations is getting better. That's inspirational motivation. And then, again, idealized considerations. So, that is the same pattern about the youth theory, a little bit similar. When you get the good identify about the youth theory, and then you can get the more easy for understand transformational leadership. First time, idealize any kind thinking, any kind critique, any kind complaint, and idealized. This assessment and getting the data and take a meeting with the together leaders and members. And second step, second component, you should be find that is a good material or good relationship, or that is bad or bad relation or bad material. You should be divide that by your intellectual, your knowledge, your experience, your assessment. And third one is motivate, inspirational motivation. And then now again idealize consideration, how we divide, how we provide the reward to the members after getting the profit, after getting the good situation, how we share our members. That's an idealized consideration after transformation. That is 4I, idealized influence, intellectual stimulation, inspirational motivation, and idealized considerations. They used to be remember that. You know why? I emphasize that. That means the prepare about the final. And then second characteristic of the transformational leadership. The first we define about definition and historical and what is a character. Now, the charismatic leadership is a visionary, but charismatic leadership is from 300 years ago or 1000 years ago. Charismatic leadership is based on the democratic leadership or any kind of leadership based on charismatic. If you will be the leader, and then you should be checked up. You get the charismatic nature, or you don't have a charismatic nature. If you don't have charismatic natures, and then you are very hard, very, very difficult for get the leadership position, any kind. But how we develop charismatic leadership? Not all people, not everybody get the charismatic natures. But how we develop our charismatic leadership, charismatic nature for right leader's position. First one, you should be get the vision. That is must be. you should be visionary. You saw that the vision, you saw that the another situation, another picture than ordinary people. That means that you get the vision. And then how can you get the vision? How? So everybody get the vision, even the 7 years old, 5 years old, that has the vision. They have the vision for eating or they are sleeping, not only humanity, not only flesh, not the intellectual, but now we say something about the leadership in humanity and spiritually and bodily and practically together. So you get the vision. You should get the vision on charismatic natures. But transformational leadership should be charismatic leadership because they have the vision. And second is independent leadership. That means that transformational leadership allow to the small group, and then they appoint the leader about the small groups. That means the independent leadership. That is not a hierarchy structure. There is a vertical structure. There is a partner, looks like a partner. And then stimulate creativity. That is very important in transformational leadership. Okay, I said transformational leadership is not hierarchy structure, then that the transformational leadership structure is the vertical, side by side. And then if I'm an owner, if you are the leaders, and you can make small group or small members by your side, and then you appointed the leaders by each small group, and then you had the discuss with the small group's leader. Of course, small group leaders discuss and have a meeting with their members. And then your transformational leadership usually that your small group leaders as like same partners. And then you can get the stimulate creativity. And then how? What is base? Self-confidence and trust. This used to be maximizing self-confidence and trust. The transformational leadership is maximizing self-confidence and trust. Every leaders of small groups, and they talked, the leaders, and they had a discuss, they have a meeting, and then their inspiration is maximize self-confidence and trust to the leaders. And now you use that some reward and punishment. But reward and punishment is very individually, not grouply. Individual reward and punishment. And why? Because the members or small leaders of a small group, they are very confident and trust to the leaders by individual. But must be careful about the dividing. That's why integration is very important in transformational leadership. Sometimes we use that grouping, total organization. Sometimes we use that the individual. That means you use that diversity. Anyway, it's a characteristic of the transformational leadership must be based in charismatic nature, but you allowed independent leadership to the small group leader, then they think and they stimulate our creativity and maximize self-confidence and trust to the transformational leadership, and then you use that individual reward and punishment. And then how? This is an action plan. This transformational leadership is the most updated leadership in our generation, and then that is more practical in leadership by using that integration. That's why it's a specific vision. We saw that the definition by the Bernard Bass. He said, motivate members to effectively achieve their goal. Effectively achieve their goal. That's why it's a specific vision, not theoretical, very practical vision. And encourage independent strategy, encourage of the leader of a small group, and encourage reward to the small group leaders. And emphasize on a sense of challenge. Don't be worried about the fail. Don't be scared about your position. If you want and if you think about the creative thinking, and then you should do that. Don't worry about the result. Why? The James Burns said, the process. The leadership is not finished the final theory. Leadership is the process. That's why it's encouraging independent strategy and emphasize on the sense of challenge. And then the transformational leadership should be provide opportunity for step by step. Not leader should do that. Not leader is leading all organization and members, and then leader serving with love and sacrifice, just like Greenleaf said. That's why you should provide to members, provide every small group to opportunity. There should be creative thinking and critical thinking and complain no matter what. Where they didn't get worried about, they didn't get scared. To provide opportunity. And then you provide a sufficient compensation system. That is a reward system. That is the action plan. So, and then you think, so my class students think that's a very good transformational leadership. But be careful. It's very, very hard, because how we provide opportunity for step by step. Because in the human nature, it's very selfish, That's why we are sinner. We are very selfish people, and then why we provide opportunity for other people. And how we provide sufficient compensation, money, salary. That is very, how can I say, very hard for transformational leaders in the reality. But that is good update and develop that leadership in this time. And then action plan, that means action. Not only theory. If you know that the vision and very make a specific and encourage your members, emphasize, don't be worried and don't be scared when you fail, and provide opportunity for material and time and it's a salary compensation for sufficiently. system. And how we should do action plan. That is a 3-step. First one, you should be know. You should be founded. Awareness stage of change. How you change. If you are leaders in any kind of organization, but after 1 month, after 5 months, we used the traditional leadership. That's why, so every time you have awareness stage of change. Every time transformational leadership think about the change. We should be changed because this high-tech internet network system is very quickly changed. That's why so leadership must be changed. It's like same industry. And participating in change. You think about the awareness stage of change, and then you should be action, participate in change. And another established patterns, creative change. That is a step and step, same step every times. And what is advantage and disadvantage of transformational leadership? First of all, advantage is emphasize on the personality and membership. So first of all, advantage of transformational leadership is a personality of membership, and second, independence members. Independently, respect the critical creative members. So don't be idolized. Don't be scared, the complainer. And relationship between member and leadership. Member and leader going together, just like one unit. That is advantage. But this advantage is oppose traditional leadership. What is oppose? Traditional leadership will be the change. They must keep their own plan. They keep their own patterns. That's why they have the negative perception of traditional leadership. And traditional leadership doesn't like transformational leadership, because transformational leadership is concerned about the change. But traditional leadership must be stay in old experience. That's against it. And compare with traditional leadership and too much concern to individual members, too much concern in individual members. To be management is very difficult. That's why it's disadvantage. That means advantage in concern about personality, individual, and independence. But that is also disadvantage. And what is the case study? So we should study about the case study in tech industry and general field. We compare them. So now is after pandemic, after COVID-19. That is, in my opinion, personally in my opinion, so after pandemic, our industry is very quickly and very largely changed. And then tech industry, the network system is very quickly changed. You know that when we started the pandemic, 2019, about 7 years ago. So nobody think about the Zoom meeting and online educate, just like this lecture. Only 7 years, everywhere in global nations, every communication system change from face-to-face to internet online. That is a networking system. That's why leadership must be changed from pandemic, COVID-19, 2019 to 2026 is 7 years. Very quickly, very largely, and very practically must be changed. But how we divide in the ministry and general field? In general field, concern about the resource concern about the energy and political field. But in ministry, in spiritual. So as soon as the development of the modern culture, but the people looking for the spiritual society. There's a case study with, I think, a divide in ministry and in general field. And now is what is your situation? What we were here. So we're going to start use that first youth theory or first step. What we were, where I am. And now is our environment is a distant working. In some people stay at home, but still they working. It's like the same before in company organization. Now we had the mixed work circumstance, mixed work environment. That is a distance working system. Second is the work and relaxation together. So even in the Google or Amazon company or Apple, something like that, even another company, they have the workplace and relaxation place together, mixed them. So many students watch the Korean drama, so it's like same to me. And then when I saw that the Korean drama, they are working in the company building, and then they don't go to the cafe in outside because the organization, company provide good quality and barista cafe in their own inside buildings. That's why it's a work and relaxation place together. When I visit Amazon and Google, inside, some workers, some members bring their own pet, dog or cat together. And then they work with the pet in official organization buildings. Because that is a transformational leadership. Provide opportunity and provide work and relaxation together and distance working. That is a mixed work circumstance, mixed work environment in now our generation. And now most changeable is operation of non-ranking meeting. Non-ranking meeting means that when we traditional meeting is the faculty meeting and staff meeting and student meeting, is every meeting is separate by the ranking, by the position. But now it's a high-tech organization as like Google or Amazon, even the Tesla. They have a meeting with the non-ranking. Everybody come. Everybody address their opinion and even based on their experience or their vision. There is operation of a non-ranking meeting that is mixed. Everything mixed and integrate in transformational leadership. Okay, for the case study in the Tesla, the Elon Musk, what has the direction? What is the mission statement? He concerned about the not car, not Tesla car, not material. He has a vision for energy. What kind of energy? Energy with the friendly nature and protect our earth. That is the vision. Nobody opposed it. Nobody against about the Elon Musk's vision. Why? He has the concern about our environment where we live in the earth. That's why that is a car, Tesla, and they provide in Waymo. Waymo is no drive in the public taxi because everything we use the nature energy by the solar and resource from the solar nature, and we use that, not the pollution equipment in battery, electric battery. That's why the people cannot against about the vision of the Elon Musk. That's why it's a vision of energy, just like that. Not you should do. You should think about the Tesla car, Tesla X missile, just like going to the Mars. Don't be what you saw there. Don't be concerned about what you saw. You should be concerned about the inspiration in your transformational leadership. That is a concept of a friendly nature, and then nobody against about the vision in Elon Musk. That is a transformational leadership. But the other side, in Christianity or in humanity, so you know that the president of South Africa, he was that Nelson Mandela. Nelson Mandela is against over the apartheid. Apartheid is apart is divided. That hide is a likeness. That means the white people and black people is divided. That this is a racism. So Nelson Mandela is against the apartheid in South Africa. How? Everybody understand, everybody know, agree with the address of the Nelson Mandela against the apartheid. But how? How we should be one unit? And then Nelson Mandela said reconciliation. Reconciliation means that we confess we are sinner. You are sinner and me, I am a sinner together, and then we looking for love each other. And then Robert Greenleaf said biblical leadership is a steward who follow God's will, and he serving the community how? With love and sacrifice. That's why Nelson Mandela said reconciliation. We should be reconciliation. For what? We looking for peace, and we achieve the goal as like peace, what God's will. And then we against apartheid. And then we are equality. As like Genesis chapter 1 and 26 and 27, the God made as like same his form and his likeness. So God make you and me and everybody, white people, black people, same as like God's form, the shape, and God's likeness, nature. That means that the equality. That is a transformational leadership must be changed by the reconciliation. As like this picture, the notice in the beach in South Africa, city of Durban, on the section 37 of Durban Beach by law, this bathing area in the beach side reserved for the sole only use of members of a white race group. That means the only white people bathing and swimming in this beach, in this beach. So for example, do you think about when you're going to the Santa Monica or Santa Barbara or any kind beach in ocean, that is by law only white people, and then black people or oriental people cannot go to the swimming or relaxing. Don't use that the beach. Even we pay the tax and we paid everything same. That is racism. And the other picture you see, non-European only. This is Europeans only. That means this step is the Europeans. That means European means that the white people. Non-Europeans, that is from the Africa, from the Asia, that is a color people. They stepping this way, but the other stepping is white people only. The Durban Beach by law, that's from the government. This bathing area is reserved, used for the sole only use member of a white race group. It's very funny and now, but not so long, just only 50 years ago. But still, we contact this circumstance and we encounter that situation. Okay, so I want to finish the transformational lectures because I provide the handout more specific and detailed, and I should be not emphasize over the advantage and disadvantage because I need more. I don't have not much enough time, and now I address very important. I inform to you about the final exam. But next week is the 14th week, and usually when we have the curriculum of the research paper or a book report, if we have that, and then before final we have the no lectures. But we don't have the research paper, we don't have the curriculum in research paper in our class, and no book report in our class. That's why I like to review from first lecture until today, until 13 lectures, based on the quiz. Everything from the second quiz to until 13 quiz, I review everything, and especially what question I like to mention on the final term. That's why I guess some student doesn't watch this video only so that handout for the solve the quiz, and then if you don't watch this last lecture, next lecture, and you should be missed at the right answer in the final term. Okay, that's why. So please, even I like to make a 50 minute 50 minute only next lecture for review. Every we submit the quiz in this class. Okay, so today very shortly I lecture for transformational leadership, but so please next week is a concern about whole lectures in this class and summarize and inform for good result of the final term, final paper, final test. Okay, thank you and see you next week, and take a good time for the until next week. Thank you very much. See you next time.